This is the news that should be. China have sent their top dog to the UK together with her husband for a state visit and for trade negotiations. But unfortunately, once he arrived, the trade discussions had to be put on ice until we know if the UK votes to remain within the European Union or not. As currently, the United Kingdom are unable to talk for themselves on many subjects due to their membership of the European Union. In fact, the UK cannot now speak for themselves regarding any political subject, including trade, because we've handed over power to an unelected bureaucracy in Brussels, the European Commission. Even this boy from Question Time, who frankly should have been in bed, realised that we are now controlled by a dictatorial organisation.
I went to Europe recently on a exchange trip called Erasmus Plus.
Or not?
To the continent then, to Belgium actually, to Brussels. And I went with Erasmus Plus, which was set up by the European Union. And when I was there, we went round the tour of the European Parliament, and the guy who said it was taking us around said, the Commission tell countries what to do. I was disgusted by that there is no democracy in that place. An unelected commission tells our politicians what to do. That is a disgrace.
All that we know from the China trade visit is that more and more large contracts from the UK are going their way to China, backed by taxpayer cash in case anything goes wrong. A spokesperson for the organisation, I have had enough of crony capitalism, said that this was clearly crony capitalism. In what could be another blow to David Cameron's Syrian ambitions on behalf of Murdoch and the Rothschilds, a Turkish MP has said that it was the Turkish government that supplied sarin gas to the Western-backed rebels, and that this proves that it was the rebels who fired these chemical weapons to blame it on Assad. David Cameron came straight out after the terrible event in 2013 and said that he knows it was Assad that done it in it because it said on his morning briefing. An MP close to the Prime Minister, who wanted to remain anonymous, said of course we knew the rebels fired the chemical weapons in Syria, but Murdoch and the Rothschilds are desperate for the oil in the Golan Heights, so we had to think of some excuse to bomb them. In other news, MI5 and MI6 are to be given new sweeping powers to surveil you even further. Despite MI5 filming children being raped and protecting paedophiles, and despite MI6 hiding Harun Rashid Aswat, the alleged ringleader of 7/7 bombings in London. MI5 and MI6 want more powers and more funding to help them keep our country safe. They want another 65 million staff to allow there to be one agent for every person in the UK. That way, they argue, they can follow every person everywhere they go, as well as hearing what they say on the phone, who they are saying it to, what emails and texts they are sending, and they can also see if they're beating them on Candy Crush. Andrew Fatty Four Eyes Parker, the Director General of MI5, said today that this would be a huge help in the battle against terrorism, and would also make it an awful lot easier to plant pipe bombs and other explosives on people that they want to frame. And finally, the Daily Mail have been lambasted by the government today, which has landed the paper in very hot water. The government are unhappy that there was only 14 articles about the Kardashians on their homepage, when the Daily Mail are fully aware they are contracted to have at least 16 at all times. A spokesman for the government said that putting lower than their required amount of Kardashian articles on the Daily Mail homepage at any one time could lead to people accidentally stumbling across the truth, which could then lead to a revolution if the people ever find out what the government have been up to. Therefore, the government are looking at possible terrorism charges against the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail has apologised and said this was clearly just an oversight and guaranteed that it would never happen again. That's all for today. Goodbye.